Hi, everyone. Today, a rather quirky idea popped into my head, turning a motorcycle valve stem into a mini welding machine. It might sound a little crazy, but sometimes the weirdest ideas lead to the most interesting results. I know there are a few tiny parts that might make you raise an eyebrow and think, what on earth is that? So before we dive in, let me introduce each piece. We'll explore, figure out together, and hopefully share a few laughs before turning these seemingly useless bits into a real, working mini welder. And who knows, after today, you might start looking around your house and thinking, what else could I turn from something discarded into something amazing? Next, I've got a jar that fits nicely in hand, which I'll turn into the handle for my homemade antenna. You can use any jar or object that feels right. First, drill a hole in the center of the lid, just big enough for the valve stem. Even after drilling the hole in the jar lid, we can't attach the valve stem just yet. Many people skip this step. The drill hole is a bit rough, so I'll flatten it a bit to make installation much easier. In my hand is a dead AA battery, but don't toss it yet. I'm going to reuse its core to make a DIY soldering tip. In case you've forgotten, let me break it down like a pro. The battery core is a good conductor, perfectly shaped to fit the device, and reusing it not only saves money, but also turns what will be waste into a useful tool. That's smart DIY, turning small scraps into practical gadgets without extra cost. The soldering tip is now filed and ready. All that's left is to remove it from the drill head and attach it to the valve stem. This is when everything starts to click, and you'll see this quirky DIY idea take shape. To connect the welder to the positive side of the power source, I'll attach one end of a wire directly to the soldering tip and the other end to an alligator clip. This step is simple but crucial. Make sure the connections are solid so your circuit works reliably. a crucial step that many people skip. Wrapping exposed wires with electrical tape. It's a small move, but it protects you from short circuits, keeping both you and your DIY project safe and tidy. While I'm at it, I'll secure part of the wire to the jar. This protects the connection from breaking and keeps the wire from dangling, safe, tidy, and very DIY friendly. Here's a wire with 2 alligator clips, which will connect to the negative side of the power source. This completes the circuit, allowing our mini welder to function properly. The power source I'm using for the mini welder is a small battery with just the right specs, enough to supply a steady current without being too dangerous. Small but mighty, exactly what you want for a home DIY project. Don't worry about this, everyone. The battery core is just a little damp. Let it dry out with a quick burn and it'll be ready to use. I'll do a simple test example. Once you see it works, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. It keeps me motivated to bring you more fun DIY projects. And to make this end of video gift truly worthy of those who stayed until the very last second, I'll add a few more strokes, smooth and steady, like an artist in a flow. Even though my hand is still trembling a bit from that overly bold morning coffee. With this mini welder, you can write letters, create patterns, personal symbols, or even draw tiny logos if your hand is steady. Move slowly to keep the heat consistent. Rush it, and DIY might turn into DI, leaving everyone puzzled. Honestly, watching each glowing line of metal appear feels incredibly satisfying, like signing your name on a piece of metal that's alive and responding to your hand. The sensation is unique, making every DIY project feel deeply personal, and sometimes even making you chuckle quietly at the unexpected shapes your own hands create.